Hey guys, Super Retro Kid here. So I thought I'd make another video. What you're currently looking at is this is the new Raspberry Pi Model 4 or Raspberry Pi 4, the 4 gigabyte model. And what I've done is I booted it up with Raspbian. And I went into Raspbian and I ran this terminal command to do a firmware update on my Raspberry Pi, because people have been finding that there's a power issue or something where it'll reduce its power if you don't update it. Since mine was one of the later batches to come in the mail, it seemed to have already been updated, because when I went to do it, it said it already was. So then what I did was I went to Lakka's website. Lakka is an operating system for RetroArch that just kind of boots to this like PS3 looking menu that allows you, it's just like a front end for RetroArch. And Lakka, they have a nightly build that supports the Raspberry Pi 4. So what I did was I downloaded that nightly build, and then I used it's not Etcher, but it's just like Etcher. I used a program like Etcher to lay it down on the SD card. And then I have a USB thumb drive connected that has some games on it. And then I'm using a PS3 cable, or I mean a PS3 controller hardwired into a USB port on the Pi, and the PS3 controller seems to map perfectly. So I've been messing around with a couple things. I've been messing around with some Nintendo 64 and with the runahead mode, and I just thought I might as well make a video and kind of show you guys how it performs. So right now I have runahead turned off, so I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to load up Mario Kart and just kind of show you how it performs. In first I'm going to do Mupin 64, and then there's another one, this Pirelli N64. So I'm going to start with just Mupin 64 Plus. And I've actually been pretty impressed with Lakka. And I've got my FPS shown in the upper right hand corner to kind of show you. On screens like this, when it sits at like, 25, or if it just sits at a number, then that screen was probably just set to that. Yeah, there's this weird kind of like stutter when I switch between screens. Like everything seems to work pretty smoothly, but then when I switch between screens, it kind of pauses for a second. In Mario Kart 64, this is probably like the most tested game. So this is probably the game that's most likely to work. And there you can see it's not rendering that picture window up there, just like on that Nintendo 64 home console that they announced. I forget who's making it, Paperkin. This is pretty good though. And you can see I'm getting a pretty solid 30 frames per second. I know a lot of people are wondering if this Pi can be the Nintendo 64 Classic Edition, based off of this one game and how early it is in the development of all this software for the Pi 4. I'd say it's looking pretty good. Oop. Oh, I wasn't sure which one was my brake. Okay, so I'm going to escape on my keyboard. I'm going to go in and try that other Nintendo 64 emulator. Let's do load content. I don't think I've ever used this emulator before. Maybe it doesn't even boot. Oh, must have crashed. So I guess Mupin's the only one working so far. Yeah, and that was longer, so that must have been like a real crash. So let's just try a different game with Mupin now. Let's see here. Start directory. Let's try cruising. Another racing game. I just feel like I didn't really want to try GoldenEye because who knows what the controls are going to be like on a PS3 controller. Let's do an easy one. Oh, there's some stutter. Oh man. Yeah, so Mario Kart ran a lot better than this one. Definitely gives me time to think about where I'm driving. Yes, that one didn't work so well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to play some games I'm familiar with. Just kind of let you know what I think. So I'm going to go in here to Donkey Kong Country 2. And I'm going to do this without, well, no, maybe Donkey. Yeah, let's try it. Let's just see what it feels like. So this is without runahead mode. And I don't have any way of measuring this, but I'm just going to feel what I think if I think it feels like. See, there's not very much lag, but I can feel a little bit. Yeah, I can tell. It's not egregious, but I can tell. Yeah, it's enough to bug me. So now I'm going to exit out. I'm going to turn on run ahead mode. And I tried run ahead mode on when I played Nintendo 64, and it just made Moopin fail to boot. So I'm going to do run ahead latency, number of frames. I know that 1 is like where you want it, and I'd say that's about right because of the lag I was just feeling. But I'm going to try making this like something a little more extreme. I'm going to try setting it to like 4. Just put it on like cheater mode right here. So let's see what happens when I put it on like 4. And instead of, let's play Super Mario All-Stars. Super Mario All-Stars with SNES 9X. I want the regular one. I'm doing the regular one instead of doing the older years because this Pi should be able to handle Super Nintendo. Something weird about this. Okay. Let's play 3. So I have my run ahead mode set to 4 frames. Definitely doesn't feel normal. Not sure what's... I wonder if, like, if I get to a hammer guy, will he even get a hammer off before I kill him? Like, I'm trying to figure out what having run ahead mode at this extreme is really doing. Because it's not like these bad guys really, like, react to me. I mean, I guess, like, those guys will, whoa, that was weird. I don't think that's a normal glitch. He still jumps about when I thought he would. yeah, there's something weird about having it turned up that much. Oh, I didn't make it. And I was earlier using runahead mode at 1 frame, and that actually was pretty cool. That pretty much like took the lag out of Donkey Kong Country 2. Trying to think. I want to see what happens when I get a star. Because I was just playing this on real hardware, and when I get a star, the top and bottom of the TV screen would kind of pulsate a little bit. Ooh. I'm not really sure what 4 frames is doing for me right now versus just having it set to 1. Ooh. Some of these guys really react to me. I was thinking if I plan on doing this more, I should probably play this level. Ooh. And it's keeping a solid frame rate, which it should be able to on SNES. Yeah, it's just, there's something weird about the movement. Like, and it's not just when I'm running around, it's like, I don't know, some stuff is just kind of like jostled. There we go, now I got a star. I want to see what a star does. I don't want to use a star at this level though. Lakka seems to be pretty rock solid on this though. I'm actually surprised that this isn't like way glitchier using Lakka on the Pi 4. See, I would think that that part is probably easier. It kind of felt easier because of run ahead mode being set to 4. Fine, I'll do the water level. Or no, this isn't the water level. Okay. See, if there was lag, I wouldn't have been able to do those jumps. So let's see. Oh yeah, see, that's interesting. When I do this on real hardware, I get like a pulsating on the top and bottom that I wasn't getting. Doesn't really mean anything negative about this, but it's kind of interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna put it back to 1. Actually, you know, I'm gonna put it back to 0. Because I know that 1 is awesome. Having this on 1 is the way to do it. But where am I? Is that on or off? Let's try it. Now let's play it on regular Nintendo. I think Messon's supposed to be the best one. Ooh. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's supposed to be the most accurate. Maybe that's why it's chugging. Let's play with a different one. So this is without run ahead mode. Yeah, much better. Oh, jeez. Okay, they're mapping my buttons differently. How do I run? Okay, so I definitely feel the lag now. Feels like I'm running in mud. So now I'm gonna do the same thing, because that obviously was full of lag. So I'm gonna turn the run ahead mode on at 1 frame. see how that feels. I'm using FCE UMM. She's It's actually still not perfect. Let's try putting it at 2. There's probably an easy way. Yeah, there's the easy way. I was like, there's probably an easy way to relaunch it. I've never used Lakka before, so. Yeah, so with this game, so
powering on.
So I'll just kind of take a second to talk about this run ahead mode. So what's kind of interesting about this run ahead mode is it really does allow you to get the latency out of these emulators. But the thing that's kind of weird about it is every combination of playing these games could be a different setting for that run ahead mode. You know, like when I played Donkey Kong Country 2 with SNES 9X, I put it at 1 frame and it was perfect. When I played this game, I had to set it at 2 frames. So using FCE UMM. So depending on what your TV is, or which, you know, how much latency your TV has, how much latency your controller has, how much lag, or how good the emulator works, and not only how like optimizes the emulator, but it's almost like it's also the emulator for that specific game. You know, how well does the emulator run that game? So, you know, you can't even say like every regular Nintendo game with FCEUMM, you know, just because this one runs at 2 frames for run ahead mode doesn't mean that every regular Nintendo one's going to. So it's gonna end up being like something that you have to set for every game, or maybe people will make like maybe people will make like a repository or like a database that it'll feed off of. Like I could see people doing a database where it's like, if you have a Pi 4 gig and you're using this emulator, you know, these games will set themselves to this, and then you can put them plus or minus 1 depending on if you're on a CRT or a super laggy flat panel, or if you're using a super low lag controller or a controller with a ton of lag. So it's really cool that you can, you know, emulate these on a Pi and take the lag out of them, but it's it's also something you're going to be tinkering with. But, you know, it's not a whole lot of work to adjust it. So I'd say I think it's super, super cool. I'm actually surprised that, you know, already you can do this with the Pi 4. Like, you can do this, I mean, that you can already get Lakka going, and you can already play all these games, and that they're this far and getting everything going, and that they have run ahead mode. And I really do think run ahead mode is going to be a game changer. So this is Super Retrocade. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.